Let's go live. Okay. Had a question today that was asked to me. Why do you think it's important for a man to pay for his daughter's wedding? Okay, this is my views on it. In old times, a father was required to pay for the wedding and the divorce, and the young lady could not even be married unless the father approved of it. The young lady could not even be divorced unless the father approved of it. And why do you think that a father should pay for his daughter's wedding? Because it's a level of class. I feel strongly that if a father cannot afford to pay for his daughter's wedding, his daughter is not fit to be married. I really feel like we need to go back to that. Because if your father won't pay for your wedding, he don't feel like you is wife material. So that's why he will not pay for your wedding. People say, "Oh, maybe he can't afford it." If he can't afford it, then he has not put the funding to the side to be able to move to another class. See, when you are a man that's worth $1 million and you want to marry a woman, her father should at least be able to pay for the wedding because she's moving to another class and the generations to come will be in another class. So I feel like the father should pay for the wedding. In my life, my goal is to pay for my daughter's wedding and leave my son some land. My sister always complained to me, why do you want to leave your son some land opposed to leaving your daughter some land? Because she's supposed to be marrying a man that's fit for whatever her expectations are. My son got to bring expectations. A man is a provider and a protector. That's his role in a marriage, his most important roles in a marriage. So, being a provider and a protector, I think I'll be helping my son off if I leave him some land and I pay for my daughter's wedding. Me paying for my daughter's wedding is showing how serious I take my daughter. So I feel like that if a girl get married, her father should pay for the wedding, and her father is fully invested in her future when he pays for her wedding, because she just can't pop up and say, "I want to divorce my husband." She got to go explain to her father why she divorcing her husband, because he is fully invested in the success of his child. And I think we should get back to the point where a father pays for the divorce as well. So when she come to him and she say, "I want to divorce my husband," she had to explain why she wanted to divorce her husband, and the father have to approve of that. I think that would save a lot of marriages, at least in the black community. Most black fathers can't even afford to pay for their daughter's wedding. This is true. That's why we deserve reparations, because there's a such thing called systematic racism that have kept us away from the wealth. African American people in this country own less than 1% of the wealth in this country. So, since that's been the case, when you speak of poor people, you are talking about black people. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I own property in other places, but I do live in Atlanta, Georgia. One thing I have never seen is a homeless Mexican. I can't say what you have seen. I can't say what you have witnessed, but I have never seen a homeless Mexican, because the Mexican people, they might not have a lot of wealth, but they have a thing called culture, and they don't just throw their kids out in the streets whenever they not up to their standards. That's one thing we do in the black community that I think need to stop. I see homeless black people all the time, and there's nothing I can even do because I don't have enough wealth to take care of my people. And I'm not saying I should take care of a person that choose to live on the streets. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: we need our reparations because we suffer from redlining and systematic racism, and it's a known fact. It's not even a secret anymore. It's a known fact. So I think with that being said, it's a big wealth gap, and that needs to change. Because I can give you an example of something. If you're an African American person, I'm not speaking to nobody but African American people. But anybody else welcome to listen in. But I'm speaking to African American people. I could take a white man and I could take a black man. And I could tell him they could both have the same credit score. But I could take that black man and that white man and say, go to the Nissan dealership of Union City. I could sit that white man down with a white man, sit that black man down with a black man. They both got the same credit score, probably even both got the same job. The black man's going to be paying double, if not a plus, a lot of money more than the white man, because the white man cares more about his people. The black man cares more about his bonus. Now, how many of y'all then bought a car and you know you paid way more than you was supposed to pay for it, but you bought it from a black person? A black person sold you this car. He cared more about his bonus than he did about his people. This type of behavior needs to stop. We need to start caring more about our people. But because we lack wealth, we would do anything for wealth. I know black women right now, if their daughter got pregnant at 20 years old, they don't even encourage her to marry the man she got pregnant by. But that same daughter can come confess to her mother. They'll tell their daughter, you too young to be married. You too young to be married. And basically what they're saying is your body is too nice. You got options. Explore those options. But that same 20-year-old girl could be stripping and nobody have a problem with it. Dancing on a pole for some money. Long as you getting your money, girl. Women are supposed to be married in college. I know the black community don't hear this a lot, but you go to college to find your husband in the same class as you. Once you find that husband in the same class as you, you bring him home to your father and you tell him, this is my husband. Most time when you both in college, you have certain types of goals. But with that being said, I gotta contradict myself on that. I think a man should marry old and a woman should marry young. I think a woman should marry between the ages of 18 and 23. A man should marry between the ages of 30 and 38. Because the reason I say that is this. Because a man needs time to go acquire his wealth, to go acquire his home. A man is a provider, a protector, and a provider. That's the place a man plays in the household. So if he don't have no home, he got nothing to provide. A woman comes to you and is your helpmate. Yes, that is true. And I strongly agree with that. So when she comes to you, you should have been in graduated college. You should have a home. You should have some money saved up. And if possible, you should have 2 vehicles for transportation. My suggestion to a man is best to marry a girl that still lives at her father's house, because she couldn't do all the wild stuff she would do if she had her own place. So you need to have a home. And her father, if you're doing it right, should pay for the wedding and marry her off to you. And she your responsibility. That's how I feel. These are just my views. I have been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But I'm just giving you something to think about. These are not the talks we have with our sons. These are not the talks we have with our daughters. Most girls learn how to twerk before they learn how to cook. That must stop. And this is going out to the fathers. That must stop. Twerking is a mating call. And twerking encourage teen pregnancy. They say it's an African dance and it's rhythm and all that. Yes, that's true. But it is the dance that strippers choose to do to sexually disturb men to get funding to take care of themselves. So you could say it's an African dance, and it is. In Africa, men went off to men's school. They trained for 3 years. When they came home, they was full with muscles. They was full with training. They knew how to defend themselves, and they looked more mature. The fathers got together of different locations and different people. They got together and they came back home. And the welcoming village dance was something like twerking. A woman was shaking her behind because it sexually disturbs a man. And they was doing that to encourage reproduction. Sex is not a sport, it's a reproduction process. We need to start teaching our kids this. Women, well, black women in my community, they value being a mother more than they value being a wife. And that must stop because we got things we got to do. And I'm encouraging you to do better. We lack culture. We are prisoners of war. My people are prisoners of war. We still have a slave mentality and we are under total control, which is not, it's for public. This is facts. This is not nothing I'm making up. Evidence proves this. History proves this. I'm taking time out to tell you something that I feel you need to know. I was recently on a tour called the Stop the Violence tour. So when I got ready to do my speech, I explained something that's very uncommon. I've been all around the world. The Philippines, Malaysia, Australia, Bangkok, Thailand. I've been all around the world. And one thing I noticed that you run the Stop the Violence tour. The most violent places are poor places. You go to the poor neighborhoods, they're gonna be violent. When you go to a poor neighborhood, it's gonna be violence. Because when you don't have nothing, you get depressed. And then once you get through being depressed, you're gonna be angry. Then you're gonna start doing whatever it takes to eat or whatever it takes to pay your bills. If you stop suppressing people, you can stop a lot of violence in this country. And that's what I explained. Well, my people is the poor people. We own less than 1% of the wealth. And I understand why violence exists. And if you want to stop the violence, stop harassing poor people. Stop harassing poor people if you want to stop the violence. 'Cause I want to stop the violence. We must learn to be disciplined people, respectable people, work together, learn how to barter and trade. Stop charging a poor man a high price because you only going to aggravate him. Learn to barter and trade. Stop looking at your brother and looking at the dollar and reaching for the dollar. Most women in our community don't even value the men. They don't even see them as being on a level. So a lot of people tell me that a lot of our women should wait and enjoy their life and explore their life and have fun before they get married. That is a falsehood, especially for a woman. A woman should marry young because if she doesn't marry young, she's gonna have sex, and if she's having sex without any marriage, she's just weighing out her womb, or worst case scenario, she's gonna get pregnant. But because our men suffer from so much self hate and self defeat, we take a woman however she comes. And there's nothing wrong with that because we have a lot of situations that is not explained. But in a traditional form, a woman with kids is not the first pick. It's not. But the men is so devalued in our community that women feel like they can have 5 kids and still feel like they better than a man. Because the black man is just that devalued in his country and in his community. He's not valuable to them. And I can't understand this because from what I noticed, it's not easy to talk to women. I've been single for about 3 years, but I have had sexual relations, but I have been single. I haven't been in a relationship. And women are not easy to talk to. So for women to come up to me and tell me that they pregnant and the baby daddy ain't nothing special. He's not a good guy. He's nothing, and he don't take care of his child. You sure do give a hard audition when it's coming to me talking to you, because let's keep it real. It takes a lot to have a sexual situation with a black woman when you're a black man. You gotta convince her to give you her phone number. And 7 days a month, she's on her period, I think. I think it's 7 days. So, okay, now you got the rest of the days. So then you got to convince her to give you her phone number. Then once you convince her to give you her phone number, you got to convince her to meet up with you. Once you convince her to meet up with you, you got to get her comfortable enough to have sex with you. And once you get her comfortable enough to have sex with you, now saying, and this speaking on that is thinking about that. How are all these women keep finding all these men that ain't qualified to be fathers and not qualified to be men? I don't understand it. And I don't know if it's purposely done, but they keep using the excuse, I was young and dumb. That's not going to keep working. That's not going to keep working. We got to do better. The black woman is the highest educated group in America at this time. You are very intelligent. How you keep making these mistakes? And these are serious mistakes. And these are life-changing mistakes. I'm tired of seeing these women running around as baby mamas. Or I'm tired of seeing these women that done destroyed their bodies for birth control. Hey, I got a simple solution. Why not marry the man you get pregnant by? Because if my sister came to me and told me a man got her pregnant and she really want to marry him, we'll go see about him. And we're going to explain to him, you got her pregnant. You need to marry her. It don't got to be violent. When I was growing up, if a man got a girl pregnant, her father was coming to see about him. But the father has been dismissed from home. So he's not there anymore. So we don't have that safety net for our daughters. Most black men don't even see paying for their daughter's wedding as even a requirement or nothing they even desire to do. That's not even nothing they even desire to do. It's not nothing they plan to do. They don't even see that. She paid for her own wedding. So when she paid for her own wedding, what insurance she got? What insurance did the husband have? I want the insurance that you pay for your daughter's wedding. And I want you to support us in this marriage. So when she get to acting wrong, I want you to step in and have a long father and daughter talk with her. I need that insurance. And that's something that I'm going to tell you something, guys. Daddy girls make the best wives. Just from my experience. A girl that didn't have her father in her life and don't have a lot of love for men, she needs therapy before she marries someone. She really does. She really needs therapy because she secretly hates men. So that's not really a good thing. Try to marry a girl that's a daddy's girl. That say, I love my daddy. Because she like men. She like the men she have in her life. And she'll be more acceptable to a man that's trying to come into her life. A girl to be like, she don't like men and men ain't it. No, don't marry her. It's gonna be a hard time if you're a real man like me. Because I'm the type of man, I don't argue with the person I love. I don't argue with my woman at all. I'm not gonna hit a woman because that's not necessary. I'm too strong to hit a woman. So I'm not gonna hit a woman. I'm not gonna argue with her. I don't cheat. There's two type of people on this earth. There's cheaters and people that don't cheat. I'm a person that don't cheat. So I don't do that. It's because I think it's filthy. It don't got nothing to do with the woman. I just think it's filthy. Because I like sex a certain type of way. And I don't see cheating as a good idea for me. I think it'd be too dangerous in these times. So I don't cheat. I don't argue. I don't think it's masculine to argue with a woman. I see so many dudes that just gotta have the last word. They gotta say this, they gotta say that. I gotta let her know what she gonna do to me, and she ain't gonna say this to me. I'm not. Listen, I don't do that. I just look at her and just let her know. Listen, it's not gonna happen. You can keep trying, but it's not gonna happen. So I don't do that. You know, uh, guys. The worst thing you could tell your daughter is, "I'm paying for your college, so you never have to depend on no man." A rude awakening, she's going to have to depend on a man. Whether she, whether it's sexual needs, she gonna depend on a man. Oh, she can get no, don't tell her that. Because when you tell her she don't have to depend on a man, you know what she's gonna do. She's gonna put all her life into going to school to make you proud. She's not gonna marry when she's supposed to. She's gonna get a good job. She's gonna take care of herself because she don't want to depend on a man. You're really coaching your daughter to be a lesbian when you tell her that. And she's gonna be running around saying, "I'm a strong black woman. I take care of myself. I pay my own bills. I do it." Yes, but no, no. Don't tell your daughter. Don't tell your daughter, "I'm paying for your school so you don't have to depend on a man." I would never say that. Your daughter will have. She gonna need a man, whether she hide him and do things, or whether she bring it right to your face and do things. But she will need a man if she's a heterosexual female. So you can take that how you want. These things that I feel. I'm not saying you gotta agree, but I'm just giving you something to think about. When you got a child, you got a heavy responsibility. So I'm just telling you, stop telling your daughters that, because that's costing a lot of us. Men are not gonna want to marry a woman that's overly aggressive and masculine, and she got to have the last word, and she got to let a man know he's a punk, and she gonna do what she want. Men are not gonna do that, so don't set your future up for failure. We must inquire wealth, and we need to start pushing marriages back in the black community because they're taking advantage of us. Okay, like I said earlier, the African American female is the largest group of graduates in 2019. How come the wealth gap didn't move? The wealth gap didn't move. How come? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when women get money, they don't feel they're supposed to pay bills. They feel they're supposed to find a man to provide for them. But if they can't find a man to provide for them, if they make too much wealth, they don't want a man at all. They get them a vibrator and they get their own place. So you got black men over here with an apartment. You got black women over here with an apartment. We losing wealth. The wealth gap ain't gonna move. Because all she gonna do is take a source and a sense of independence. Not to mention that when a black man marry a woman and she's making a six-figure income and he's making a six-figure income, she don't feel like she's supposed to pay bills, which is understandable. But she feel like she's supposed to have Michael Kors, Louis Vuitton, and those companies are owned by Caucasian people, Europeans. You're making them rich. That's why they keep the wealth. They keep you in love with certain images. I gotta have a Louis Vuitton, a Gucci. I gotta have this. Wasting money on certain. I gotta have a Range Rover. Do you ever notice that the most expensive things that put you in a certain class are all European products? The number one car in the world is the Toyota Camry, the most dependable car. Costs $27,000. But the car that everybody want, your dream car, ask yourself what your dream car is. It's gonna be a European car, a BMW, a Benz, a Bentley, Range Rover. It's European cars. They learn how to product themselves where they'll never go broke. And the African American community, we are the most vain people. We spend money on the most stupidest stuff. But it ain't necessarily stupid stuff. It's just things that's not in our class range. If you do not make a six-figure income, you rocking Michael Kors, you rocking Louis Vuitton, Birkin bags. I don't understand how you feel that. People say, well, you wear Michael Jordan shoes. Jordan is a black man. Jordan is a black-owned company. Whether you want to admit it or not, the man bought his company in 2018. He became a billionaire. Well, you can admit it or not, but it's a black-owned company. You keep talking about black-owned businesses, support black-owned businesses. Well, that's a black-owned company. That's one of the biggest efforts that black people made at supporting the black man in the 80s when Michael Jordan brought out them shoes at $200 a pair. We said we're going to support the brother. We love him. He played good basketball. We want to be like him. We want to be in his position. We're going to support him. That was unity. You can call it what you want, but it was unity. They say, well, people get killed over Jordans. Listen, people get killed over food. Stop. Stop it. I'm not telling you to support black-owned businesses, but I'm telling you that that's what you're doing when you're rocking Jordans. We must change the value. Speaking of Jordans, we must change the things that our people value. Who determined the value? Who determined what's value in the black community? The black woman. When I got married, I used to drink. My ex-wife told me, you must stop drinking or this ain't gonna work. I stopped drinking. When you ask a black woman what she look for in a man, she gonna say he gotta have clean shoes and a nice haircut. So black men focus on having clean shoes and a nice haircut. They said, what else you want? You gotta have a nice car and your own place. So the black man focus on having a nice car in his own place. Now his own place is a very valuable thing. But he focused on having a nice car, clean shoes, a nice haircut. We value the wrong thing. We got to change the things that our women value. Our women got to change what they value. And the black man would improve. Every drug dealer I know, the biggest drug dealer got 4 women that he can call at any time that will have him. He got 10 baby mamas. He got chicks he can sleep with at any time. That's what's valued in the black community. We got to change that. If you're going to sell these drugs, you're not going to have no women. But they told that he get money. He doing what he got to do. But a good man, he can't get women like that. We got to change what's valued and what's the most valuable jewels in our communities. If we're not going to do that, we're going to be forever lost. I need my people to work on that. We must. You know, when I'm riding downtown Atlanta, I see little boys outside running up to your car trying to sell a bottle of water. I stop the little brothers. I get them money sometimes, but I tell them, how about don't sell a bottle of water? How about you sell face mask or hand sanitizer? Something that fits with the time. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're just doing things that other people are doing. Try to do something different than that. People don't want water, especially when your dirty hand is all over it and you just running up sweating. Nobody want that. But these are products, I hate to say it, of single mother households. His mama probably at work, or she just there waiting on a welfare check and let him run in the middle of the road with bottles of water and telling him he doing something good because he getting money. But they have no respect. There's 2 things you need in this world to be successful. Do you know what those 2 things are? Can I tell you? Respect and to be organized. You need respect and you need to be organized to be a successful person in this world. That's one thing I learned. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Don't never let the wisdom die. Teach the next generation. Have respect. Learn how to speak to people. You can make it if you got respect and you organize. When you miss a flight, you're not organized. It depends on where you plan on going. respect, and organize. Work on those. Welcome to the Mastalock podcast. Have a great night.